Welcome back to the Simpleton Review. We are glad you're with us. This week we have got the brand new album by one of the most, let me rephrase that. We have got one of the most anticipated albums of the year that we are reviewing by a young lady by the name of Billie Eilish, or as my son likes to call her, Eyelash.
Billie Eilish.
And I don't know why. But anyways, yes. What's the name of the album? I totally forgot the name of the album.
Happier Than Ever.
Yes. Now the question is she happier than ever? That's the question that we don't know. So Happier Than Ever is the second, which is crazy to me, the second studio album by American singer-songwriter Billie Eilish. It was released on the 30th of July by Darkroom and Interscope. Eilish co-wrote the album with its producer, which is her brother Phineas O'Connell. She cited self-reflection during the COVID-19 pandemic as the biggest inspiration for the record. So, gentlemen, why don't we start with you, Mr. Charlie? Tell me, what did you think of Billie Eilish's brand new album?
I thought it was not what I expected. I wasn't sure what was because I hadn't really listened to her music, so I figured it was all going to be really pop. I think I've heard little bits of it of her previous songs, and they sound kind of like they almost kind of make me think of like goth pop. Just like really heavy dark synth and stuff. Mm-hmm. When the album started off and it was loungy, very articulate, I was like, oh, now this could be really good. Mm-hmm. And because the language was like really sharp. But then I was unfortunately dismayed that disappeared for most of the album. I didn't think I thought that she had some pretty hefty quips and everything, but the rhyme schemes were really simple. It didn't hold my attention like the initial part of the album did. Again, the dark synth that I loved it. I thought that was really cool. But I really hated like the cheesy rhymes that kind of followed up with it. I wish it was going to be something a little stronger. I think that I think again the first track was my favorite, and then what was it? Your Power was another good one. A nice soothing tune, but it had a lot of thought-provoking things. Most of the top tracks that were hitting the radio weren't my favorites. So again,
which ones are hitting the radio?
I think it was oh my gosh, it's the samba title, which wasn't too bad.
Billy Bossa Nova.
And then the Billy Bossa Nova, yep. And then I think that one hit the radio, and the
Oxytocin.
Yeah, I think that one's hit, and Lost Cause. I think those were like the three big ones, and they have. I think those ones have her traditional. From what I'm understanding, those are more of her signature sound. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that's correct. And I think Everybody Dies is actually off of the James Bond soundtrack. I think that's the song she wrote for the new James Bond movie. But you're right. See, and that's why I had to ask, because when I was listening, I listened to her first album, and I really liked it quite a bit. It is a very dark techno flair. You can tell it was really basically her brother sitting around with a programming, a synth program, busting out these tunes. But there was just something different about the whole thing that really kind of struck a chord with me, and it was, it's pop music. What's on that first album is definitely pop music, but it had a darker tinge to it. And what I do respect and appreciate is that she does write and produce all of her own music.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that fact. What I find interesting about this one is I listened to the whole thing and I'm like, what are they going to release as pop songs? As top 40, this is not top 40 material on this album. I was like, not. Wow. And you're really, you caught on to the point where you said that it had kind of a lounge feel. I read that she was influenced by a lot of like 1940s and 50s singers. I appreciated that. I think she has that voice that if she
she definitely has the voice to control.
Now, what I don't like about the quality of this one is that she doesn't bring her voice forward enough. Now, that was the same thing she did in the other album. Her first album, she doesn't bring her voice in front enough. If she did, and she sang a little bit more powerfully, instead of so breathy, breathy. She could be easily somebody like an Etta James or somebody like that who just has
She's
that.
Aretha.
Yeah, a sultry, sexy sound to her voice that would just melt people. I could see her standing up in a 1940s, nightclub in this beautiful 1940s gown singing some of these songs. I bet you some of her videos are probably like that. Who knows? But I did like the songs for the most part. It was so much different than her first album, which was really shocking. But I appreciated the fact that she did not stick with that same. If it's not broke,
ROM.
don't fix it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If it's not broke, don't fix it kind of a thing, right? And she didn't do that. And I think there's a lot of people out there that agree that this album really sounds like something that was written by a 30-year-old that's got 5 or 6 albums beneath her belt instead of a 20-year-old
she's like
that
almost
has
20,
2 albums.
yeah.
Yeah, that's it. It's like, holy crap. If she's putting out this kind of music now, this woman's got a bright future, and it's something that I'm going to be excited to track. Even if she is one of the most popular singers in the world, I like it. And that's not, I don't usually say that because most pop music that everybody loves, I don't really like. But I like her style, So anyways, I've bled that one to death. Lemuel, what do you think?
I agree with her voice being really good and kind of wanting her to sing more confidently almost and projecting a little bit more because it felt like she kind of just got up to the mic and just was like real quiet. So I would have preferred it way more if she was a little bit more confident. I will say a lot of the songs kind of sounded the same in my opinion. So that's my biggest complaint about it. Like, they're nice and she's got a lot to say, but a lot of the songs, like, I would kind of skip halfway through because I'm like, this sounds the same a little bit. Like, especially I didn't change my number into Billy Bossa Nova. I feel like kind of felt the same. And then after Oxytocin, those few songs sound kind of the same. So I just, I didn't hate it. I'll probably add a couple of these to my playlist, but
yeah,
I wouldn't sit down and listen to the whole thing again because I'd get bored.
Yeah, and when we reviewed, the King Gizzard album, we talked about the length of the songs. Now this one, there's not a single song that is over 4 minutes. That's over 5 minutes long. The longest one is Happier Than Ever at 4 minutes and 58 seconds long. Everything else is 4 minutes, 2 minutes and 38 seconds, 3 minutes and 30 seconds, 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Very, very short songs, which was interesting. I thought, man, they could be longer. And that's why I'm wondering, like, what are they going to release as pop songs? Because this is not top 40 format radio songs. They are not. She didn't have that in mind at all when she made this album, I don't think.
Well, and a lot of jazz singers and lounge singers, their songs aren't long. They're about 3 minutes long. That was a big thing in that era. Is that they didn't drag them out. They didn't do long solos in between or anything. That was meant for the live show. If you wanted that, you got that at the live show.
Radio, until the 60s, if your song wasn't 2.5 to 3 minutes long, it didn't get played. That's the bottom line. If you look at all of the early 1950s rock and roll music, none of it is longer than 3 minutes long because that was what they thought was radio length. These days, they throw on 4 minute, 5 minute long songs, but even on pop radio, even today, that's still not the norm. It's still pretty short songs that they like to put on pop radio. At least the radio edit version is, right?
Yeah, that's why they have so many radio edits.
Yeah. So I found it a very fascinating album. So I guess just they actually have some of the statistics right now of the album, even though it's only been out for just a couple of weeks. It has, it debuted atop Billboard's 200, so it was at the top.
Very quick.
238,000 album equivalent units. That's huge for 2021. You don't sell that kind of stuff in 2021. The 5th largest week for an album in 2021. Of those units, sales constitute 153,000 copies, which is the largest album sales week in 2021. That's crazy. Let's see. The tally also consists of 73,000 vinyl LPs shipped in the same week, marking the 2nd largest vinyl sales week in MRC data history, behind Taylor Swift's Evermore. This woman is competing with Taylor Swift.
Oh yeah.
That's crazy. 9 songs from the album charted on the all-genre Billboard Hot 100 simultaneously.
Okay, that's kind of crazy.
Nuts. In the United Kingdom, the album debuted at number 1 with 39,000 units sold. Happier Than Ever became the 3rd fastest-selling vinyl album of the millennium by a female artist in the UK. The album debuted atop Germany's Official Top 100. I said that name wrong, I'm sure. As Eilish's first number 1 album there, it eclipsed her debut album, which peaked at number 3. In Australia, the album landed atop the ARIA album charts, her second number 1 in the country, whilst 5 songs debuted on the singles chart. All of the album's 5 singles charted on the chart previously. Happier Than Ever entered at the number 1 spot of France's albums chart with 14,000 units sold, becoming her first French number 1 album. So this album is huge. It's only been out for like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That is crazy nuts. Especially, again, in 2021, having that kind of success for a record is amazing. Records don't go platinum in 2021. They just don't.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you go ahead.
Yeah, I was thinking so much of that. I mean, you're talking physical copies versus like all the digital. Because I figured I'm probably one of the few that buy analog copies.
Yeah.
So.
that is amazing. And this is all from a 19, 20-year-old kid. So, like I said, if she is actually competing,
Voice of an angel,
with Taylor Swift, who's been one of the biggest acts of the past 15 years, that's nuts. That's just crazy nuts. It's mind-boggling. So I'm going to give my review or my score first, okay, folks? I am going to go with a 4 overall with Billie Eilish's brand new album. I liked it. I thought it was great. I thought the production was great. My only beef probably was that she could have pushed her vocals forward a little bit and maybe sang a little stronger. Sang, that's the word I'm looking for, sang a little stronger. But I'm going to give it a 4 overall. It is a great album. Lemuel?
I'm going to go a little low. I'm going to go with a 3.5. I think it's worth a certification because it's a very good album. I just, subjectively, it wasn't for me that much, I guess. So.
Okay. All right. That's fair. We had one of those last time we did a review, right? I was like, it's good, but it wasn't my stuff. Right? So that's cool. You can have that. Charlie?
I'm going to agree with Lim. This is a certifiable album. And so I'm going to give it a 3.5 as well. Again, my beef is like always going to be like, if you're going to write a song, I want it to say something other than repeat itself a lot, and say one point. So it's like, otherwise, but the sounds are fantastic. The production quality is over the top for being just a brother-sister act to like put that together.
Yeah.
Good work. Good on you.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed. Okay, so I have a question for you both then, since you gave it such a low rating. 3.5 is certified at all. Justin Bieber or Billie Eilish?
Billie Eilish.
All right. That wasn't even a problem there. You guys didn't even have to think about that one. All right, so because...
I'm down for you, girl.
Yeah. So, oh my gosh, whatever. Yeah. I would rather hear Billie Eilish repeat lyrics than listen... Yeah, okay.
Well, yeah.
3.5 from both the Charlie and Lemuel and a 4 from me makes this album Simpletons certified. You must go listen to it. And if you like it, buy a physical copy. Not like she's hurting, but she wouldn't mind if you sold a few more copies. I'm telling you, this is a good album. It's well worth a spin. Even if you're an adult in your mid-40s like Charlie and I think you're going to like it because I think it's going to appeal to a bunch of different generations. I don't think it's just going to appeal to the young crowd. This is a good album with a very mature sound to it. So check it out. Billie Eilish's brand new album, Happier Than Ever, which is really funny because it's kind of ironic when you start listening to the lyrics.
Yeah, she doesn't sound that happy.
That's right.
Sure, you look at the cover, she doesn't look that happy.
She never looks that happy, though.
No, she never really looks very
The only
happy,
time I've seen her happy is she was on a talk show where she was like singing in the car with the guy that's in all the musical stuff. It has his own show.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember his name. Yeah.
Does the karaoke, the car karaoke or whatever
the car karaoke, yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
I had seen her smile through that, so that was pretty cool.
She smiled a lot at the Grammys last year because she raked them in. Man. Her and her brother raked them in, and she was smiling. In fact, when she won Album of the Year, I can't remember who she thought should have won it, but she was like apologizing for winning it. She's like, I'm so sorry. I don't think I actually deserve this. But they were actually quite humble when they were getting those. It was actually kind of shocking to me.
That's cool.
Yeah, her and her brother were like, thank you. I mean, we don't know what to think. They were just totally in shock that they were winning all these Grammys. But so thank you guys so much for joining us here at the Simpleton Review. Go check out Billie Eilish's brand new album. If you've listened to it, please let us know what you think in the comments. We would truly like it. If you like Billie Eilish, then let us know. If you think she's stupid and you think she should burn in the darkest, deepest pits of Dante's Inferno, then let us know that too. We'd truly appreciate you to let us know. And if you want to check out all things Simpleton, you can please do that at thesimpletonreview.com. You can find all of our videos, links to the podcast, and links to our Patreon page, as well as amazing swag that you can buy at our t-shirt store. We've got t-shirts and stickers and all the good stuff like that. So please make sure you check out simpletonreview.com. And as always, we will see you guys next week. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.